Good morning. Today, February 24th, 2026, United States President Trump is scheduled to deliver his State of the Union address. It is widely anticipated that he will use this platform primarily to praise his own achievements, despite his current poor approval ratings across the board, even on critical issues like migration and inflation. Indeed, Donald Trump and his spokeswoman, Caroline Leavitt, have repeatedly emphasized how much the prices for eggs, dairy products, fruit, and gasoline at the pump have supposedly decreased since President Trump took office. They attribute these supposed declines to the president's continuous fight for lower prices. However, many, especially younger people, perceive the situation very differently and are voicing their discontent with the current policies of the Trump administration across various social media platforms. One young woman laments, "I have to think about which groceries are essential for me, how I can fill my gas tank. I am constantly being pushed further out of the city because I simply cannot afford the rent." Another young person complains about now having to pay $2,200 for a two-room apartment, highlighting the significant burden of rising living costs. According to Eli McKown-Dawson from the election analysis platform Silver Bulletin, 60% of United States citizens are currently dissatisfied with Trump's policies. This level of dissatisfaction mirrors that of Joe Biden 1 year into his presidency, but it is significantly worse than Barack Obama's ratings at the same point in his term. McKown-Dawson explains that high living costs are not the sole reason for this discontent. President Trump's approval ratings on important topics such as inflation and the economy in general have long been poor, contributing to the downward trend. What is particularly notable now is the weak survey results, even in areas where the Trump administration was previously strong, such as immigration policy. Immigration policy was a key issue in the 2024 election, prompting many to vote for President Trump. His approval ratings were correspondingly high when he ordered the border with Mexico to be sealed off by military and the National Guard. However, McKown-Dawson attributes the negative trend to the increasingly massive operations of the Immigration and Customs Enforcement Agency, known as ICE, suggesting that the administration overshot its mark. Additionally, the president's tariff policy, much of which was recently overturned by the Supreme Court, has also damaged his approval ratings. Views on foreign policy are somewhat divided. Quick, decisive interventions, such as the arrest of Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro, are generally seen positively. Other foreign policy ideas put forth by President Trump, however, are not. For instance, 80 to 90% of people in the United States rejected the attempt to acquire Greenland, as noted by the survey expert, who further states, "But most people are primarily interested in domestic issues anyway." Particularly, young swing voters are turning away from President Trump. This observation is corroborated by Jesse Arm, vice president at the Manhattan Institute, a conservative think tank. While core Republican voters continue to support President Trump, swing voters are drifting away, with a notably high number of younger individuals among them. They had hoped that President Trump would solve their problems and are now feeling disappointed. On the other hand, Arm notes that President Trump has a good sense for when to backpedal. This instinct led the United States president to partially scale back ICE operations in Minnesota, for example. Can a defeat in the November midterm elections still be averted? Jesse Arm believes it is possible. However, for this to happen, President Trump would need to demonstrate empathy for those who feel that things are not going well for them. Arm cites Bill Clinton as an example of a president who successfully averted a midterm election defeat by showing such compassion. This approach, however, poses a particular challenge for President Trump, whose consistent message has been, "I win constantly, Many people are simply tired of hearing this. Furthermore, numerous genuine successes are no longer perceived as such because President Trump constantly praises himself. For example, objective economic data are not actually that bad, especially when compared to countries like Germany. The United States gross domestic product grew by 1.4% in the fourth quarter. In January, 130,000 new jobs were created, and the unemployment rate decreased from 4.4 to 4.3%. Yet, as ARM explains, these positive indicators are lost because people are simply fatigued by the administration's boasting and its refusal to admit mistakes. If the Republicans hope to win the midterm elections, Donald Trump still has a great deal of work ahead of him. Stay tuned for more updates on this developing story. This video was generated using artificial intelligence. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more updates. See you next time.